you're doing over 10 mil already, and you haven't even really got started. So you had Kevin, Barbara, and Robert fighting for the deal.
I was not nervous at all when I went on Shark Tank. I just knew that like I would get offers because I'm killing it in business. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was briefing colonels and stuff like that about that actually people could die for. So sitting here pitching you my product when I know I'm already going to be successful, like, why am I going to be nervous? They say every man lives two lives, and the second one starts as soon as you realize you're going to die one day. Do what you want to do, man. Stop doing what you think you should do.
Tell all the people out there that are afraid to pull the trigger and make the jump one bit of advice.
The number one advice is to...
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real treat for you. Brandon Himmel's in the house. If you guys don't know this dude, look him up on Instagram at Ruff Liners, RUFF Liners, TikTok at Ruff Liners, and you can find his kick-ass product at ruffliners.com. A real entrepreneur, a story that has taken him from frickin' the backwoods of Mississippi. No, just joking. Where'd you grow up?
Texas.
And now he's the CEO of Ruff Liners, which is a company he founded, got on Shark Tank and the whole bit, and now he's rising to glorious fame.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you.
So let's see what my team says. Brandon Himmel is Hall your middle name?
Yeah.
Brandon Himmel. Founder and CEO of Ruff Liners, based in Houston, Texas. Former U.S. Marine Corps intelligence analyst. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, brother.
Worked at SAIC in Blackwater, USA. Earned physics degrees from San Diego State University. Then spent 9 years as an engineer at ASML before founding Ruff Liners in 2021, which is a patented dog car seat cover. Then went on Shark Tank season 16. Lost both parents within 8 weeks. What the hell happened there?
It's a rough story. Yeah. So back in 2019, my dad had got cancer, and it was maybe about 6-7 years. He was fighting it. Beat cancer, basically. It was all over the place, his brain everywhere. And then after all that, for years, he kind of got to the point where the medical effects of having cancer and everything kind of caught up to him. He ended up having a couple strokes. But that last year, then my stepmom, who raised me, who I consider my mom, she got diagnosed with cancer. And so it was basically, that was probably one of the toughest years of my life, but it was also the catalyst that made me realize life is fucking short, bro. And like, you just got to do shit. And so
I wish more people knew that.
They say every man lives two lives, and the second one starts as soon as you realize you're going to die one day. And so once you realize that like tomorrow is not given, I can go get hit by a car tomorrow, you know? So, I feel like that's really what put the fire in my ass and was like, look, do what you want to do, man. Stop doing what you think you should do.
Before they passed, were you just kind of like an average Joe? What were you doing? I mean, you have killer background, physics and freaking Blackwater and, intelligence analyst. What were you making?
Yeah, I was making good six figures. I think I was making about 120 or so, maybe a little bit more if I was traveling a lot that year and getting paid a little bit more for traveling and stuff. But yeah, 6 figures. I was working as an integration/design engineer with ASML, which is like next generation of semiconductor machines used to make all the new M2 chips and stuff like that with Apple. I mean, I liked it. Like I got my physics degree, obviously, because I like science and stuff like that. I want to work on hard things. But after about 10 years of doing that, I loved it, but not as much as when my parents got sick. Every other weekend, I'm flying back and forth from San Diego from my great job to just wanting to spend the weekend with my parents. So every other weekend, I'm flying back and forth. I'm not financially in a place where I think I can help anybody. I mean, honestly, like as a man, I was like, I should be doing more. Like I have so much more potential in life. And yeah, I like my job, but like, I want freedom. I want to be able to do whatever the fuck I want. I want to be able to like go home for the next 6 months and just work from my parents' house and spend more time with them and stuff. So. Well,
Marine Corps doesn't offer that.
No, it doesn't. But it was great when you're young. You know, straight out of high school, Marine Corps. I wanted to just travel the world with the Marine Corps, and then I got out, and then I ended up working in DC for a while. I worked with Blackwater for a year, running missions in Iraq and everything, and then I went back to school. Then I became an engineer, and then
So you went from running missions in Iraq with Blackwater to working on a semiconductor technology to selling dog seat covers. How'd that happen?
I just, maybe a little bit of ADHD. No, I don't know. I like doing hard things. I like the science and tech side of things. It is kind of crazy to go from like working on some of the most advanced technology in the world to working on a simple product like a dog seat cover. But
and just real quick, guys, it's not a dog seat cover. If you guys have dogs, okay, I would go look at ruffliners.com right now. Number one, I'm telling him they're far too cheap, which they are. So I would hurry up and go get them because I'm going to convince this dude to raise the price on them. But like literally, it's almost like a second skin for your crew cab, your back area. Second seat, dog floor, dog playpen area, safe walls, handles slobber, the hair, the whole bit.
Yep.
Keeps your car freaking fresh. And it's like, I couldn't believe, like diamond tuck, it is quality snaps, quality, like, climbers, what do you call them? Fasteners or what are those called? Clips.
Straps.
I mean, like, dude, it's quality as hell, those Ruff Liners. And I'm like, how are these so cheap? And you're like, what do you mean?
The biggest thing, and to answer that question, why are they so cheap? There's two parts of it, right? Like as a business owner, I want to be successful. I want to build the biggest business I can. But then it really is one of my core values that I want to help dogs live a better life. So as long as I see it as long as my cost of goods landed is the right percentage and I'm killing it, making good margin, building a business that's growing really fast. If one customer doesn't buy my product because it's a little too expensive, then that's a loss to me because I would rather more people have it in their vehicle and actually get outside with their dogs more than me, sell to 10, 20% less customers. So it's trying to find the right line where it's like, we have a great business, we're growing, but we're also trying to really take care of people, Yeah.
Well, what I wanted to point out though is when you say dog seat cover, people think of something for the seat. Well, it's the whole back area. Yeah. It's the door panels, it's the seats, it's the floor, it's the, the console. It's like, boom. It's almost like installing a dog bed / area.
It's like a WeatherTech, but mats, but for your whole back seat area.
Yeah. Like you look,
the whole thing.
Like it literally almost reupholsters your back seat, and it installs quick, and it's like badass, dude. So was your scientific background helpful in designing all that, or did you just, because you have a dog and you're like, I designed it for myself and it just turned out to be cool?
Yeah, I mean, I think my engineering background, especially because I was with integration, like an integration engineer, and I was going to customer sites, talking to TSMC, Samsung, Intel, it helped me understand that relationship of how to work with your supplier and develop a product. And then I have a really strong analytics and data analysis background. So that helps a lot with being able to see where the market's at, being able to, everything from quality control and making sure the product is actually as good as you want it to be, to how we run ads, how we market on social media, all of those other things. So the basic product itself maybe isn't some crazy high tech stuff, but all the data and all the stuff that goes behind managing a project and developing a product, I think there's skill sets from being an engineer that really kind of carry over into being a business owner.
Well, you're doing over 10 mil already, and you haven't even really got started. Do you think being on Shark Tank was a part of that?
Shark Tank gave us a little bit of a boost. The first year we did 1.25 million, and that was mostly being sold out 3 quarters out of the year. $1 million of that was in the last quarter. Second year we did 5 million, so we had 4x growth. We probably maybe wouldn't have done a full 10 million this year. And we got a boost from Shark Tank, but it's also we took all that momentum from Shark Tank and we did so much on social media that then people are seeing us probably more on social media than actual Shark Tank. But it gives the what's the word I'm looking for? The
credibility.
Yeah, the credibility that, they were on Shark Tank. And it's a good hook to have at the beginning of your video. Hey, I was on Shark Tank. It catches people's attention real quick. So we've been able to leverage that. So it's been a good leverage. But I definitely think a lot of that growth is what we did with it, and not just sitting here expecting that this show is going to blow me up. You still have to do the work and everything, I feel like.
Yeah. So most people in your position, 40 years old, making 6 figures, engineer, they probably would have just played it safe. You know what I mean? But you took 15 grand, bet the whole shebang on dog seat covers. What was going through your head? You just like really wanted out? You weren't, it sounds like you weren't happy, but you were.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I was happy, but at the time I couldn't see myself going and working anywhere else. Like I wasn't going to just go work at another job for the sake of moving back to Texas and being close to my family. Like if I wasn't going to work for myself, this was like the best place I could work. I loved the technology, and we're advancing technology, and all the AI and everything that's rolling out right now is because I worked in the semiconductor world for 10 years. Those chips that are supporting AI and cryptocurrency and all that are made with the machines that I helped with being a part of that whole project for 10 years. So I like loved doing that, and I love working on hard things. So, when my parents passed away, I didn't get a whole lot. My dad was a welder. He worked 80, 100 hours a week my whole life, like working out of town. He was just really hardworking guy. Like that's where I get my hardworking ethic from, is like, I'll never work as hard as he did. He worked his ass off. But when they passed away, and I have a couple siblings, and we kind of sold their house and everything, I got like $60K or something, enough to pay off student loans. And then I had money sitting there, and I'm like, I don't want to just waste this money. I want to do something with this that makes me remember my parents every time that I like think about it. And so it's crazy. Even here, being here right now on Dropping Bombs is because I took a little, something that my parents left me, and I like gambled on myself. And then once that money's in the business, I don't want to lose money. So now it's like I put a little bit more money, took money out of my 401k, and really went all in. But that 15K was just a free gift that I got as I saw it. And so that's what got me like my first 200 units to just start beta testing and get customer feedback, get the ball rolling. Like you just got to get started. Like once you get started, then everything starts happening. But sitting around and not getting started, it's never going to happen. So that's kind of just what gave me the motivation to be like, let's do something. Let's get it going. And the whole like learning that life is short now made me sit there and be like, for 10 years as an engineer, I would travel a lot, and I'd be on planes on a 20-hour flight to Korea or Taiwan. And I'd be reading all these books: Lean Startup, 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, Think and Grow Rich, you name them. And I'm reading them all. And I was thinking of other product ideas for like 10 years, always trying to come up with this product idea or that product idea. Like I've always just kind of like had that in me, that even whenever I was young, I used to shine shoes, mow lawns, like cut hair, whatever. I've always kind of like had side hustles and stuff like that. But at the time, my frame of mind was like not thinking big enough. I was designing this product before my parents passed away, thinking, oh, if I made an extra 30, 60K a year, that'd be cool. Like that's a couple more vacations, stuff like that. But then my parents passing away is really what made me feel like I want my freedom, and I'm not going to sleep till I get it. And so, put the 15K in, and then kind of the rest was just history. And then once I quit my job and I was all in on this, then everything just kind of took off from there.
So you say on LinkedIn, you've had 5 out of 7 targets were failures.
Yeah.
What does that mean? 5 out of 7 of your targets since quitting your job. And again, you say that on LinkedIn, or something does.
Oh, I'd have to
that's
look at
public record on LinkedIn. So most people, hide their failures. You're out there posting them. What's the purpose? What failure hit the hardest?
What failure hit the hardest? The thing is, I don't see them as failures. We just like you can not achieve something, and you learn a lot out of it. Like there was other products that I thought, like I was trying to make a modular rock climbing wall at one point, because I rock climb, and I just wanted something for myself that I could like slide out from under the bed and like train in my room and then slide it back. And then at the time I knew nothing about selling anything, but through going through sourcing and trying to figure out how much it was going to cost and doing some market research, I kind of realized maybe if I build a whole business, this business is only going to do like 200K a year, right? It's not the right vehicle, right? So through these failures, you learn something in the process that then whenever I get to releasing Ruff Liners, and I've already tried making YouTube channels, now I know how to make thumbnails and how to make things hook and call to actions. Or I'm trying to make a modular rock climbing that I never launched, but I learned a little bit about how to price out my SKU economics and do some market research and figure out like if this is going to be big enough. So, I mean, like Peter Thiel will pay kids to drop out of college to start a business, and he hopes you fail, because through the failures you learn something. But then every time you get back up on that horse, builds the confidence that you can't get knocked down, and you're willing to just keep going after it over and over and over again. Mark Cuban will say it all the time. Like, you only got to be right once. Like, you don't have to be right every single day, but being willing to make that decision and actually really try on it, you're going to learn something, but then be willing to, hey, shoot a dead horse and move on to the next thing and figure out the right winner. You know what I mean?
You learn, even if I agree with the failure comment. Like, a lot of people are like, man, what if I lose? What if I fail? It's like, dude, in my opinion, you can't really fail unless you quit.
Exactly.
So,
you're still just trying.
Yeah. And you're right. You only need one.
Yeah.
5 out of 7. What does that mean though? Did you have 5 other ideas?
I'd have to look at there. I mean, that was probably what I was talking about, is like other business ideas that I'd randomly thought of, or anybody that has known me for 10, 20 years. You cannot, like, if we went out and got a beer tonight, all I'm going to talk to you about, even if it's not my business, is randomly like, what are y'all doing with y'all's marketing? Or what are y'all, like, I'm always just like, love talking about business or the potential of, oh, we should make an AI refrigerator that just goes ahead and tells you your meal prep or something. Nobody used that idea. I'm going to use that later. But, I can literally just, I love sitting around thinking about business ideas. And so, yeah, that was probably, I don't remember the exact LinkedIn post. I'd have to look it up, but it was probably something talking about that, because I do tell people that a lot. Is it's like, when people are like, oh, you've been doing this less than 3 years and you're only going to do 10 mil. And it's like, yeah, but nobody's an overnight success. There was a lot of grinding.
What do you mean only 10 mil?
Well, already 10 mil, but I mean, it's reference to everybody. There's some people doing bigger numbers, less. I stay humble. Like, to me, it's like, I think I should be doing so much more. So 10 mil to me is like, there's still so much more potential. We're just getting started. Like you're saying, that's what I mean by 10 mil, like only 10 mil is, it's like, we're still getting started. But
yeah, but if you priced them right in the first place, you probably would have done 30 mil already.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe 50.
Now I know.
Well, again, I mean, I can't be the first one that told you that. No.
Yeah. Well, we keep raising the price. People tell us that, and we keep making it better. If you're willing to pay more, then I can make it a little bit better. We can give you a little bit better of a travel bag, or throw in some accessories or whatever. So we keep, we're going to provide the best product that we can for our customers. And if they want something better, we'll make it.
What have you had to sacrifice that you think is worth it? Because there's a lot of people listening to the show that apply what you're talking about to whatever they're doing. And most people don't want to sacrifice. They think they do until it's like, like old friends, for example. I think whoever you surround yourself with is fairly significant in whether you win or lose.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they don't want to sacrifice their childhood buddies. So they just stay average. What have you had to sacrifice to get to where you are?
That's definitely one of the big ones. Like, growing up in Houston, Texas, I'm and nothing against, where I grew up or friends or family or anything like that. But when you stay in your bubble, you stay in your comfort zone. Like, me joining the Marine Corps was like, I wanted to get out in the world where I could reinvent myself. And like, I can, when you've had a friend for 10 years and you start changing, sometimes they can't see that change. They think, oh, are you still doing this or that? And you're like, no, I'm a different person, right? So kind of going off into the world, 10 years in military and then contracting, all that stuff, living around the world, running missions in Iraq, being alone kind of teaches you, you have to do everything on your own. But then really on the sacrifice side of things, I would say like so after my parents passed away, I get the 200 units, spent $15K on them. And it took me like a year and a half to sell the first 200 units. I have 200 units take up half my garage, and I don't even have a Shopify store yet. I didn't know how to sell anything, but I just had 200 units in front of me. So now we're going to figure it out, right? And it took me like a year and a half, no ad spend, to just sell 200 units. And then I put the listing on Amazon, and I went, and the next week I went camping with one of my old Marine buddies. We were up in Sequoia National Forest with our dogs. And I was like, man, I loved working on my business last week more than like I love being an engineer. And like, I wish I could do this all the time. And a good Marine buddy, he's like, then fucking do it, bro. And so like, I literally decided right there in July of 2022, I'm going to quit my job in a year. All I have is an idea, but I'm going to fucking do this. In the next year, I'm quitting my job. And so I quit my job like a couple of weeks early, just to even do it earlier and prove to myself that I can do it. And when I quit my job, I only had like 60K in sales, but I knew it would work. That first year, I don't think I'll ever grind like I grinded at that point in my life. I saw something on social media, someone talking about going into monk mode. I literally like deleted all social media. I only answered phone calls from like 2 or 3 people. And if I wasn't at work, I was working on my business 24 hours a day. I love mountain biking. I didn't mountain bike for a year. I had time to work out in my garage gym. I made a little garage gym so I could do pull-ups and some squats and stuff like that. And other than that, I was just like working nonstop. Like I sometimes wish that I could get back to that hunger, even though I'm really hungry still. That was a point when it was like, this is the game changer. We either do it now or you're never going to fucking do it, bro. Like be who you want to be or fucking like live to being full of shit for the rest of your life. And so like sometimes like a lot of being to do great things in life, you have to say no to a lot of stuff. So I love Alex Hormozi talks about building confidence and one of the, proving to yourself that you are who you say you are. So I write down every day what I got to do, and I cannot go to sleep until I get all that shit done. And that means that girlfriends are going to break up with me because I prioritize work all the time because I'm on a mission to get to where I want to go, to have all the freedom that I want in life and everything. People want to hang out this weekend and they just don't get that. And on Saturday, I'd rather rip 20 hours and be working on all my ads and social media. But it's like, if you really want something huge and extraordinary, then you're going to have to do extra. Like it's in the word, to do something extraordinary, you have to do a lot extra. And you have to say no to a lot of stuff that most people want to do. They want to go out drinking. They want to go hang out with their friends. And it's like, if you could literally make the biggest sacrifices in a shorter amount of time, then you could get it done in a year. But if you're only willing to sacrifice a little, it might take you 6 to 10 years. Do you want to take 6 to 10 years or just sacrifice it all for a year or two while I'm 40 instead of when I'm 45 and just rip that Band-Aid off? So I think that was like kind of, that just like big shift. That guy was a dog. Like in 2022, 2023, I was just like, that's all I focused on. I had no room to talk about anything else, to look at anything else. I was just like focused.
So how did you decide to go on Shark Tank? Did you obviously just apply and that was it? Or that's probably hard to get done right there.
Yeah, I was home visiting my my family, and I was like at my sister's house, and my niece I was like, hey, she was wanting to watch some TV, and I don't really watch much TV unless it's like business stuff like Bar Rescue or Shark Tank or something like that. I just don't watch TV. And she had been watching tons of like, just like, I don't know, like Friends or something like that. And I was like, why don't we watch something else? Like there's some new episodes of Shark Tank. So she threw it on and I'm working. And she's like, Uncle Brandon, you ever thought, and I had just finished my first year. Like we had just done 1.25 million, I'm on my grind still, just quit my job a few months ago. And she was like, have you ever thought about going on Shark Tank? And I was like, yeah, I'd thought about it. It'd be kind of cool. So I just look up on my laptop real quick and I'm like, oh, there's an audition in like 3 weeks. I had no idea how to like pitch somebody. I didn't know how to like do that or anything like that. But I just, for the next 3 or 4 weeks, just focused on that, flew out to Vegas, put me in front of somebody. I can sell you my product. And as soon as they hear the numbers that we're like blowing up overnight, that we just did 1 million this last quarter out of nowhere. And we're, the numbers speak for themselves. And then, I think just through the process, they saw that like, I'm comfortable talking to people, financials. I know all the like questions that you're trying to ask me, and then kind of just one thing and another. But yeah, you'll never know your true potential in life. You'll only know the outcome of all the shots you take. And you just got to take shots in life. So you just got to show up to Vegas and pitch your product, And
what was the application process? Difficult or?
No, if you show up to an online audition, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I don't remember exactly what the first application was. It was like a general one. And then then you go to the auditions, you get like 3 to 5 minutes to talk to somebody. So I knew I needed to be really quick with my pitch. And then if I'm too long-winded on my first question, I only get one question. So just be really good at answering whatever questions I think they're going to throw at me. So I spent a lot of time watching Shark Tank, writing down every question and having a concise answer for that. And then once you get through that phase, then there's like multiple rounds of like background checks and all your financial analysis and what your story is. And they look through all your social media. And then you do lots of interviews online so that they can see how you're going to talk and show us doing the presentation with your product and all that. Sorry. So yeah, that process was hard. But even just the auditions, I mean, a lot of people don't make it through the auditions. You got to have a little bit of the personality and like already know kind of how to talk to people. But being an intel analyst, and when I was in the Marine Corps, I was briefing colonels and stuff like that about shit that actually people could die for. So sitting here pitching you my product when I know I'm already going to be successful, like why am I going to be nervous pitching my product whenever I've literally like gone to Congress and briefed them about the UK bomb threat or something like that? Like I've actually been in situations where people could die. Like who cares about this? This is just money,
So you had Kevin, Barbara, and Robert fighting for the deal. You negotiated Robert from 15 down to 10.
Yeah, I kind of went in with sharks are going to be sharks. I was expecting them to kind of have a really sharky deal. I think Kevin and Barbara came in at 20%, and Barbara was actually going to go out. I got her back in. She was like, I don't know this and that, and I sold her and got her back in, so once it started negotiating, I just held my ground. Like I didn't feel like I needed a shark. But if they want to make a lot of money and get on the train, then I could always use somebody to help me with a little bit of advice or something like that. But I wasn't going to give up too much of my business. I'm moving. I know it's going to move. And I was confident. So I went in with a really good strategy. Like I had a CEO coach for a year before that, and we had talked about it going into it and kind of reasoned through what would be some other ways that we could negotiate this. And so my strategy was basically, all right, worst case scenario, I'll offer like a royalty deal at $1 a unit. So you get your money back. It's asymmetrical. And now I have a business partner that has lots and lots of experience, can get anybody to pick up the phone for me if I want to be in PetSmart or Cabela's or anything like that. That was kind of my thing. I don't need you to do work. I'll do the work. I just need you to shortcut me in a couple places. And so, yeah, I kind of had a strategy and already knew how I would kind of navigate to get them back. For me, the biggest thing was not giving up too much equity of my business.
It says you picked Robert? No.
Yeah, Robert
over $1 million credit line from Barbara. You picked Robert, or why Robert over $1 million credit line from Barbara?
So I don't really need capital. I'm currently completely debt free. Last year I borrowed like $600K, paid it off all back in 6 months. And the lender that I went through there was like a private lender. I guarantee if I went to him tomorrow and said, I need $2 million, he'd give it to me because he's seen that I just do what I say I'll do, right? And I have plenty of capital available. My bank will give me money. Like anybody I talk to will give me money. It seems like if you have a successful business, it's not hard to find money. I'm not here looking for money. I'm looking for the right partner. So for me, it was like, that was the most important part is like, money is money. You can find money. If you're good at your finances and you're good at, you have a good product that's selling it, it's easy to find money, I think.
How important was having a strategy before you went in there?
I mean, huge. Like I was not nervous at all when I went on Shark Tank. I was like literally standing there waiting for the doors to open, just hyping myself up in my mind. Like, bro, you are here. We're about to kill this shit. Like I just knew that like I would get offers because I'm killing it in business, right? Like we're doing great with our growth and everything. So wait, sorry, what was it? What was it again? It was,
I forgot because I went off the cards. I do that a lot. The cards are just suggested questions.
Yeah.
But my thinking is like, how important was the strategy going in there?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think I was really prepared. I've seen a lot of Shark Tanks, but I auditioned in January. We didn't film till like almost the end of the year. So I had like 9 months of like just going through this process of waiting to hopefully maybe get called to air or something like that. And I spent a lot of time literally in my little daily calendar. Every day was like a 2-hour period of just sitting down, going through flashcards of every question I've seen them ask on Shark Tank or, rehearsing my pitch or.
What about your numbers?
Yeah, no, even when I went to Vegas, to audition, I brought my buddy with me, who's now my ops manager, and he came to like hold up some flashcards to explain the product to you because it's kind of hard to explain by just saying it's like a dog seat cover, right? And he was going to go grab a couple of drinks, but I was like, there's no way I'm going to grab a couple of drinks. I'm going to not if I show up tomorrow and I don't make that through auditions, I'm going to beat myself up for not preparing as much as I could. So I went back to the hotel room, went back through my numbers, and that's whenever I realized, not only did I make 1.25 million this last year, million of that was in the last quarter. So that tells a different story than just saying we made 1.25 million, because you can see now we're having like huge trajectory. So being a data analyst and being able to articulate those numbers so that it tells a story is good. But yeah, I just way over prepared. Even my Marine buddy, before I went to go actually film, I was talking to him a couple of days before, and he was like, I've never met anybody that like over prepares like you do. He's like, I know you're going to kill it. Just be confident. You've put in all the work. And I definitely did. I definitely felt like whatever you ask me, I'm ready to answer. Like, let's play ball. I'm ready.
Did they ask you a question that you didn't anticipate?
I mean, maybe they asked some questions that I didn't necessarily practice that particular question, but I mean, if you want to talk to anything about my business, like I know everything going on in my business. Like I'm involved in every single little intricate detail of everything. So, I felt, and I'm pretty comfortable with just going on the fly and answering whatever you throw at me. But there was definitely, Lori was the reason she went out is because she was reluctant because my patents weren't approved yet, and she didn't know if they were going to hold up. And I felt very confident from them because I had like one of the best patent lawyers in the U.S. Just happened to be somebody that I knew that helped write them for me and everything. And I felt very strongly that this would all work, but I kind of wasn't expecting that. So like we had a lot of discussion about patents and some technical things in there, which I'm not a patent lawyer. So there was a couple questions Lori had that like I don't know the difference between like published and approved yet, or like some other things like some little things like that. So there was a little bit of like technical stuff there that I'm just not a patent lawyer, and she has hundreds and hundreds of patents that maybe that gave her a little bit of, she didn't have the confidence that maybe my patents were going to hold up or whatever, even though I'm very confident. The other sharks didn't seem to have a problem with it, but that was I didn't expect that coming in. So
how much you spending on ads every month?
I think last month we did about 160K on ads. Most of that, we're doing like 150K a month on Amazon, and then we're doing 20 plus K across Google, Meta, and then we just started TikTok ads and trying to push like TikTok shop and stuff.
Obviously there's a ROAS.
Yeah. So I do more of tacos, total advertising cost of sale, like what percentage of my overall revenue. And we're about 18% blended across the whole business. Meta's really doing great. Like our ROAS on Meta is really, really good. Google's good. So, and really what brings that down a little bit is when you have an established product, it should have great ROAS. You've been around for a year or two. You're established. You have all the search results, the SEO, all that stuff, whether it's Amazon, Google, or whatever. But then as you're launching new products, you're going to have to be more aggressive because you're trying to, go in and conquest on some real estate wherever it is on the internet. And so with kind of like our pacing of how we've been releasing products, our legacy products that have been out 6+ months or whatever, those we've gotten to a much profitable part. And then new products that we're launching are, a little less profitable for those first 6 months to 12 months because you're going out there and trying to take search results away from like other brands that have had those search results for years or whatever. So
what are some entrepreneurs making mistakes at when it comes to marketing? Do you think like
storytelling? And that's something I'm trying to learn a lot is like you build a brand through like emotion and storytelling and being able to resonate with a customer. And so like what you see a lot on TikTok and what we're trying to do differently is you see a lot of just TikTok shop of like, look at this product I have. And it's like this little can right here or whatever, but it's like, what's the emotion? What's the story behind that? And I think like the best marketing has really good storytelling. It uses, some science behind brain chemistry and different emotions and how that really drives you remembering things and it being a memorable ad. And then that drives your sales and brand awareness and everything. So what I think is what you see, especially in e-commerce, is you see a lot of people marketing a product and not marketing a brand. And so what we're trying to focus on is, yes, we market our product, but a lot more we market our brand about getting outside with your dog. And, you only get your dog, hopefully you get 14 summers with your dog. This is another summer that maybe you didn't get out with your dog. Do you want it to be the same way next year? Or do you want to go ahead and get a dog seat cover so that you make the most of like next summer getting outside with your dog? So we're focused more on the brand side.
Yeah. I'd quit saying dog seat cover.
Yeah.
Like, if it's about branding, I would call it what it is, which is a Ruff Liner.
Yeah.
Because a Ruff Liner is not a dog seat cover.
Yeah, true.
If anything, it's a back area cover. It's more than a seat cover. Every time you say seat cover, I think of a seat cover.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do it justice.
Yeah,
like,
true.
That might be an industry that everybody knows, dog seat covers. Well, I'd change the verbiage because a Ruff Liner is what you're looking for. Dog seat cover is not what you want. You want a Ruff Liner.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because again, dude, when I looked at it online, I'm like, shit, dude, that's not what I was imagining.
Yeah.
Like that thing right there is like a freaking dog compartment.
That's the reaction I get a lot when I meet random people. I just came from an Amazon conference. I was in New York earlier this week, and all these other Amazon people. And so it's like, oh, what do you sell? Or what's your brand or whatever? And it's like, I always have to bust out my phone and show them, because like, it's just more than what you've ever seen before. And then people are like, dang, I need that. And then they have a dog and they're like right then ordering it or whatever, so.
Dude, I ordered one as soon as I saw it. Cause again, I want to take my dog out more. Problem is like, again, dude, you throw it in the back of the truck, dude, you need a $200 detail every single time. They slobber, they got hair, they scratch, you got leather, they scratch the leather, hopefully they don't shit or do anything else, but hell no. So guess what? They're limited. People are like, well, you don't love your dog enough. Maybe not, I guess. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to take my dog to the park, get my vehicle screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I saw it, I'm like, boom, solved. Like, and not only that, I wouldn't even want to remove it. Like, that's like a kid protector too.
Yeah.
My kids destroy my vehicle. They don't shed, but there's shit everywhere. Like, dude, that thing that you built is literally like a second skin.
Yep.
A Ruff Liner second skin.
Mm-hmm.
I'd almost like consider changing it to second skin, Ruff Liner second skins for your vehicle. So where you want to take this whole thing? Where are you trying to get to?
I want to be the GoPro of my category. I want people exactly like you say, like I want people to just start calling it a Ruff Liner. Your buddy will have like a cheap knockoff action camera. And you're like, oh, that's a nice GoPro, even though it's not like GoPro brand. Like, it's just like, that's what defines the whole category. That's where I think we can be, is the WeatherTech of our category, the Carhartt, the Patagonia, the GoPro, where we're a lifestyle brand that's really, more about getting outside with your dogs and less focused about just selling a seat cover, right? Like we're more than that. And so, more products.
Because it ain't a seat cover.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my vision is, $100 million plus business, the established, recognized premium product within its category that stands out amongst the rest, that you buy one for your vehicle. When you sell your truck in 5 years, you buy another one for that vehicle. You keep it for 5 years, you buy another truck in 5 years. And it's like, you've just been buying Ruff Liners forever because you trust us. We're a premium brand. You love our quality, and you know that you get great customer service if you ever need help with anything. So.
Yeah, but it's a premium look, feel, fit, and brand at a wholesale looking price.
Yeah.
Like, the price doesn't match.
I think people in a different tax bracket than you, some of them think it's a little expensive, but I agree. I feel like it
How
is.
would that be expensive?
I mean,
dude, it's expensive to detail your truck.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
Like you got to get your whole truck detailed on the inside. You're spending a couple $100.
True.
So if that saves me 10 details, because I only took it out 10 times, which some of these people, dude, they just deal with it.
Yeah.
They love their animals. They're going with them. They're part of the family. And so they just load them up and deal with it. I've gotten in car and been like, damn, you got a dog? What kind of dog you got? I already knew they had a dog. And they don't care. Their freaking automobile's destroyed. But you stick one of these suckers in there, your vehicle is brand new. You just pull it out.
Yeah.
Put it in the garage if you're, going to pick people up. They would never know that you had a dog in there.
Yeah. And it's funny because sometimes on social media, I'll get a comment or something and people are like, $150, I'll just use a towel. And then I make a response TikTok and I'm like, you're not our customer. If you have a small dog, you don't have a nice car, and you never get outside with your dog, then you're not our customer. But if you got a big dog, you go bird hunting with your dog, you're hiking on the weekends, you're going out to the lake and stuff like that, then there is no other product on the market that really like provides you with what you need. And so like, we really want to be the product for those people that are really active with their dogs. They got big dogs, they got nice vehicles, and they're getting outside a lot. And so I feel like that's important for a brand too, is you have to be unapologetically like, everybody's not going to be your customer, but we know who our core customer is, and we focus on just providing them with the product that they need.
Well, I mean, I got a couple of little dogs. I'd want it for those. I don't care. You got a dog, I don't care if it's big or little.
Yeah.
Put in a Ruff Liner. And if I saw somebody on social media say shit like that and it was my company, I'd say only because you haven't tried one.
Yep.
Here's a 20% off coupon.
Yeah.
Send me a testimonial. Because that'd almost make me, as the guy leaving the comment, make me think, shit, damn, what am I missing?
Yeah. Sometimes I kind of do that just to mess with you. It's been a couple of pieces we've done recently that have kind of done pretty well when we're just like, not everyone's our customer. But then when also it's like $150 is nothing. Have you ever detailed a truck? Like it's like minimum $250 to detail my Rebel. Like $150 for a dog seat cover that saves me at least $100.
But it's not a dog seat cover.
I know. It's hard. I say that as the category, but I need to get away from that. That's definitely a good point for sure.
$150 to basically get a second skin. It looks like it was upholstered that way almost.
Yeah.
So how did you measure everything to where it fits all the different vehicles? Because it ain't a seat.
Yeah. So
it covers the whole damn area.
Yeah. So we try to provide, instead of one size fits all products, we try to provide products that solve certain problems. But then if you look at like full size crew cab trucks, if you look at all the dimensions of those trucks, for the most part, like F-150, Ram 1500, Tundra, Chevy Silverado, that's almost all your full size trucks, whether it's the 250 version or whatever, right? All their back seats and doors and everything are really, really close to the same measurements that you can kind of cover all four of those full size crew cab trucks the same. And then, so there are some vehicles that we currently just don't have products for because we also need to have some for this kind of truck or that kind of truck. But when I look at sales volume across the whole, like I look at a lot of like data for last year of how many vehicles of every kind sold. We're focused mostly on like, let's go after the low hanging fruit. Let's go after the ones that are like the big selling volume. And then maybe there's probably like less people that need it for a mini. Also understanding our targeted audience. Because what's crazy is when I started this product, I just made one for my truck. Like that was I had one SKU for the first year and I just sold the version that fit my truck. And if you wanted one that fit my truck, then great. But they also fit an F-150 or whatever, right? But if you looked on Amazon, out of the whole top 100 category, you can look up data for any product on Amazon and look at the category and see the top 50, top 100. There's software out there that you can pay for that tells you how much revenue they're pushing, what they're spending on ads, what their cost is, packaging, all this stuff. In the whole top 100, there's no truck products, but there's more full-size crew cab trucks sold in the United States than any other vehicle. So just what I needed happened to be what a lot of other people need, and there was just a hole in the market. And so, it's the 0 to 1 Peter Thiel thing. Start off in a niche of a niche of a niche, like Elon Musk does with the Roadster, and then goes to a mass volume product. That we started off with like our one core product, which is most, focused on trucks. And that's also, if you have two vehicles, what's your wife's vehicle?
Escalade.
Before that, what'd she have?
Escalade.
Okay. Well, that's also a big vehicle, but
then
like
before that, a Range Rover.
So if you have two vehicles in the family, one's got a Raptor, wife maybe got a Tesla, who do you take the dogs in? The husband's truck, right? Like that. So it's like also that thing, especially if you have a big dog, you're using the truck. So it just kind of, there was a gap there. It wasn't like it was data analytics. It was just like, I needed something. Other people needed it. There's also the functionality of the patents and how the door panel protection works and everything. But, at the core of it, it was just trusting my intuition of what I needed. And lo and behold, it was like a gap in the market. Now there's no other truck product in the top 50. And, we're like top 3 in revenue as far as a brand goes within our category across Amazon. There's a couple like really cheap products that just move a lot of units at like $30 a piece or something like that. Right. And so we'll probably never be number one just because $30, people buy those like candy, but we're doing way better in margin than those other brands. We're barely behind them in revenue. And as we release more products and everything like that, we're just going to be more dominant. But there's no other product in the top 100 that's like as expensive as us. We just stand out as being like way more expensive. And we're just doing things differently. It's you got to do something different if you really want to stand out. Have a strong differentiator. You can't do the same thing that everybody else is doing. So
how many people in the company?
So me, I have an operations manager, one of my best friends since high school, been one of the first people to buy the product, always been a great supporter of the brand. I have an in-house media guy that kind of helps me everything from social media to maybe working on some graphics on the website or whatever I kind of need him to do with editing or filming or anything like that. I have 3 VAs that are overseas. And then I just hired a 1099 retail rep that's going to start working on getting us into retail. And then I have an agency I use for Amazon and an agency I use that manages like my Meta, Google, and email marketing. But I think this next year, a lot of that stuff is going to come in-house as we're kind of building up a team and everything. So it's really small. We're really lean.
And Ruff Liners, Ruffliners, is where you find them on Instagram, TikTok, the website's Ruff Liners. And you guys go follow him because he doesn't just like show you a bunch of ads for his product. He's actually showing you like where to take your dog, the best parks in the country, you know, all kinds of cool shit. You should probably also start incorporating tricks.
Yeah.
You know, how you teach your dog to, you know, do things.
We know what else works well is, you know, you always see those sidewalk interviews, people like randomly walking up. It's mostly at bars and stuff like. But so we kind of have been doing that a little bit. We'll go to like the Houston Humane Society fun run, and there's tons of people there with dogs. And so we walk around and just ask them questions like, should your dog sleep in the bed or not? Or like, what's your favorite dog to take to your trail? Or do you feed them any human food? And then just because that creates conversation in the comments, people disagree. They're like, no, your dog should not sleep in the bed, or they should, or whatever. And so it's just any of that fun content. Like people like that a lot, and they love the product videos as well because they see something new, and we can get those to go viral. Like some of them have millions of views. But yeah, we try to do a lot of where to get out with your dog, and here's some tips this summer to make
value.
Sure. Yeah, add value. We just want to help our customers out. You know.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, I'm like, well, dude, I don't see you advertising. So you ain't advertising. You're just giving people, you know, that loves their dogs good lifestyle content, good ideas, value.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's a lot of people that love dogs, and I know a lot of people of them are listening to the show because I get good people listening to the show.
Yeah.
And everybody's got dogs, I hope. You know, how do you go through life without a dog?
60-something% of households have a dog.
I mean,
in the US,
so when, like, if you told me you had a cat, I'd be like, that's cool.
I don't mind cats. I'm a dog person. I
like cats, but like, it's not a dog. Like, dude, if you're a man, you got to have a dog.
Yeah.
And like, if you got kids, every kid should get a dog.
Yeah.
But there's a big problem with dogs inside of vehicles. And when you get a truck, normally they'll just throw it in the back of the truck.
Yep.
Problem solved. Well, again, dude, safety and shit like that. Like, dude, you want your dog, if it's your family member, man, you want them riding in the back of the vehicle. And then I love the whole wall thing that kind of, you can zip it down if you want to let them jump up front, but my dogs will jump up front if there's nothing there. And when I saw the wall that separates the back from the front, sold. Like, dude, that will stop them from jumping up front. It's almost like a compartment.
It keeps them all contained back there. It protects the whole backseat floorboards, back of the front seats, side door panel, everything.
The vents, so the hair's not getting in the vents.
But the center console mesh also comes down low enough that it lets those AC vents blow them some nice air so that they're not all hot in the backseat and everything. I've even spent time, the materials that we use, I've even tested to make sure that it's like cooler in the back seat so your dog's more comfortable instead of just choosing this material over that material. Like, there is a difference. Like, some of them just absorb a little bit more heat, or this color or whatever. So
why is it you love dogs so much?
I don't know. I've just always been a dog person. Growing up, we had dogs. My first dog as like an adult, I got whenever I got back from Iraq working with Blackwater. And just being, I think, like a lonely college student that was in San Diego. I just moved there. I wasn't stationed there or anything, but just moved there because a buddy lived there. And I don't know, I felt like when I came back from Iraq, I was dealing with, you know, just some high anxiety, maybe a little bit of depression shit. And like, my dog was there for me. Like, we'd go hiking on the weekends. I like getting out in the mountains and stuff. And like, if I'm going for a hike today, like, it's fun to bring the dog. And like, they're jumping in the lake and having fun. It like, I don't know, it kind of just makes it kind of like, you can't be mad when you see a dog having fun. So I feel like, I don't know, it cheers me up. Just even the daily walk for my dog. I need to get her on a walk every day, but also that 1 hour of just walking a little 3 miles around my neighborhood kind of is meditative. It just kind of like chills me out. It makes me feel good. So
I'm always worried about, you know, mine has to be on a leash because, like, what if they see a dog or see a cat?
I got a trainer for you, bro. I use my dog now, I send her to off-leash training. I can have her anywhere with me. I can be walking down Manhattan and New York City, and she will walk right next to me at heel. She listens. I can take her to dinner with me, whatever, and she'll just lay there. But she's also like super fun dog, loves the water. Like she has fun, but she knows, like, she listens, and she's like a good dog. And they were the best. I had a buddy that had 2 big Malinois, and I was like, how do you just walk these dogs off leash? And he was like, he hooked me up. It was the company was started by a guy that used to work for CIA and stuff, and like did bomb dogs. And so now the organization is all over the US, and it comes with lifetime warranty. So if you get a cat down the line and your dog's like, now it doesn't work well with cats, they'll come back in and they'll like do training again. So
but where are they out of?
They're all over the US. They have them everywhere in the US, but it's called like K9 off leash training or something like that. But I can send you over the details. They did an amazing job with Sadie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I need mine to be a little more trustworthy, because like they see a cat or another dog, now I got to break up a fight.
Yeah.
Or watch it get in a fight and get killed.
Yep.
Because dogs don't play around when they're fighting, man. They seem like they're freaking fighting.
Well, when I first got her back from training, I had to actually get the confidence, because they're like, yeah, she's off leash trained. But where I lived in San Diego is like, I'm kind of just on this little street, not really a neighborhood. So we'd walk across like a street with like a light and everything to get over in this neighborhood to kind of walk around. And I was like nervous walking her next to all this traffic. Like, what if there's just a dog across the street and she just like sprints off into traffic and gets hit or whatever? So, you know, after a few weeks of like walking her, and then I'd do like the first half of the walk with a leash and then take it off. And then I realized like, no, she's just listening. Like, she's good. She ain't going to run off in the street. And people, I love it all the time. I'll be with her in public and people always come up and they're like, how did you do this? I'm like, I paid someone. I don't know. I'm not the dog trainer.
Dude,
but
I've tried to train my dog a couple times. One time I took it to a trainer here. It was actually called K9 something or another. It was like a police dog training facility where you left it there for like a month.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, it was during Christmas. So I left it there for like 2 weeks, and then they were closing for Christmas. So they said, you know, come get her.
Yeah.
And then bring her back after Christmas. Well, I went and got her, and I brought her back. She was not getting out of the truck. She was like shaking, literally. And, you know, I put her on the leash, forced her out of the truck, was dragging her towards the place again. And she was scared. And I could sense like, man, what the hell? Why is she so scared of this? Yeah. Then the main dude that came out, he walked out, and she freaking ran and hid behind me and was tangling me up in the leash. And like, she was pissing and shaking behind me, cowering. And again, my dog doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the fuck did this person do to my dog? And so he's like, well, get over here or something. It was, being stern with her. And I said, I think I'm going to keep her for another couple hours, because the kids didn't get to see her before school. So I'll be back in a little while. Never brought her back. Like,
my dog's the opposite. The trainer that I used in SoCal when I was living in San Diego, when I first got her as a puppy, he lived kind of close to me, so I could also kind of like leave her. I could pay him to. He has dogs and stuff too, to kind of like watch her for me. And she was always like, she'd be super excited to see him.
Well, it's probably because he was good.
She was super stoked. And so it was 2 weeks. It was board and train. I just sent her there for 2 weeks. She came back, and I sent her at like 6 months old. She'd run off my walls and stuff, bro. Like she would literally be just like terrorized. It was crazy.
Well, it turns out we see in the news, I don't remember how long later, my wife sees in the news that place got shut down for dog abuse, and like she was getting beat in there. Like, he was the kind that would just beat your dog to make it pay attention.
I hate that, man.
Yeah. So she was literally abused in there. So I didn't really ever find, I mean, not obviously all dog trainers are like that, but, so I tried that. And then the little dogs, a couple of Chihuahuas and I think a Yorkshire Terrier, one of them little cute ones, but they're small ankle biters. I paid, I think, $4,000 to get those guys just housebroken, because I don't want them shitting everywhere.
Dang.
They still shit where they feel like it. It's like, it's unbelievable.
I spent somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000.
Training has never worked for me. So if you got someone that will get the job done, shit, I'll hire them tomorrow.
I'll hire the same people when I get my next dog.
Can you get them to stop shedding?
I don't know about that.
I mean,
That's why I got a Roomba.
But I mean, we love our dogs, but like, dude, we don't want hair all over the couches and all. I mean, dude, come on. It's like, so we built them a little area and we keep them, somewhat separated.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like shit. And so again, as soon as I saw your product, I'm like, dude, boom, you just saved my dog's life, because now I'll take them places.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's fun taking them places, but I definitely need them trained. So, dude, I'm glad you found it. Otherwise, where do you think you might have ended up if you didn't get these product ideas? Something else, or still doing the bullshit job? Because I think all jobs are bullshit, even if you're making 120. To me, dude, when you have to freaking ask somebody to go on vacation or stay on vacation, or, when am I going to get my next raise? And, when you're essentially working for somebody else, it's not, to me, it's just not, when you can go out and build a business of your own, even part-time, even if it takes you 3 years. I think everyone should get a side hustle, building their own business. If it never works out, cool, you put in a little extra work. But guess what? It will work out if you get a good product. You're solving a problem. And a lot of people probably told you, dude, it's too expensive. It's too expensive. No one's going to buy it for that. Did anybody tell you that?
Yeah. When I quit my job, there was, because I only had like 60K in sales whenever I was done working, but luckily I had invested a good amount while I was an engineer for 10 years, investing 20% of my income. So I had a little bit of money saved up that if things don't work in the next year and I got to go find another job, I'm sure ASML would have hired me right back. I was a great engineer, I added a lot of value. I was really smart in what I did. They would have loved to have me back. I'm sure I still get recruiting emails from them. But yeah, if I wasn't doing that, there was definitely a few people. There were, people are like, what's different? Like they would show me other products and they're like, what's different? And I'm like, you don't get it because you're not a dog person. Like you just can't see it, because to you the $30 one seems good enough, and you're like, why would anyone spend more? And it's like, because you just don't get it. That's fine. I don't know. If I wasn't doing this, I would have just kept chasing something like that. I was trying to come up with other product ideas. But I think it was really not until I did the whole monk mode thing and just put it out into the universe, the Think and Grow Rich, tell the world what you're going to do. I told everybody, I posted it on my Facebook. I'm going to quit my job in a year. So that way you look at me like I'm full of shit if I don't do it in a year. I'm like holding myself. I have to do this because I'm not going to be full of shit. Right. But if I wasn't sitting there right then with a good product idea, I think I would have just kept looking for other product ideas. It's just who I am. Like anybody that knows me has heard, even my ex-wife, when I was like quitting my job and doing this, she even was like, but are you really going to do it? Because like I was always trying to think of random ideas. It was the catalyst of finally realizing that life is short that really made me get a fire in my ass and be like, no, do this, bro. Like there's no time like the present. It's crazy. Now, like I have the perspective that it's like, what took so long? This is like who you've always been. Why were you so scared for so long to just take that leap and to just do it? And when I quit my job, my younger sister, who's a CPA, she's like, works at a bank. She's super, super smart. She was like, are you nervous? Like quitting your job? And I was like, no, I'm not. Because for the last year, every day I write down what I need to do and I do that. And I've proven to myself that tomorrow me is also going to do what he has to fucking do to make this shit work. And in 10 years from now, that same dude is going to be doing the same shit, whatever he has to do. So I think if like any listeners, if you don't think that you have the confidence, be choosy about what you say yes to. But when you say yes to something, fucking do it. Whether that's telling your friend you're going to go eat lunch with them next week, or you're going to help your friends move this weekend, or that you're going to finish this financial report, or whatever it is. If you have to stay up till 2, 3, 4 a.m., you get it done because you said you'd get it done. And then confidence comes from trusting future you, that tomorrow you is going to do what it takes. So I think it was just like going through that for a year of taking the Alex Hormozy, advice that I heard on some random podcast, and then turning that into a system of let's write down everything we're going to do. Let's do those things, and let's say no to things that don't align with like where we really want to go. And then over time, you just build the confidence. So you're like, no, I only have 60K in sales. I've made no profit so far, but I know that no matter what happens tomorrow, I'm going to do it. So yeah, I think, luckily I had a decent product idea in front of me, but it's hard to come up with a good product idea, especially if you're selling like a consumer product. It's hard to come up with a new idea that somebody else isn't already selling.
Well, sometimes you just come up with a way to do it better.
Exactly.
So last thing, tell all the people out there that are afraid to pull the trigger and make the jump one bit of advice that would maybe get them to feel the same way you did and pull the trigger. You be their Alex Hormozy.
The number one advice is to just get started. So many people have paralysis of possibilities that they are like, oh, before I start selling something, I need to build up a social media following, and then I need to have a website. Even you were like, bro, you've been doing this 3 years. You're going to do 10 mil and your website looks kind of simple. And I'm like, yeah, we got a lot of stuff to do, but it's up. It's up and running. It's making sales and I'm solving other problems. We're going to come back to it or whatever. But I think some people are just way too much of a perfectionist. You just got to launch that first product. Go and read a book like Lean Startup that it talks about how to start off iterating with just a few products, get some customer feedback, use that to make the product a little bit better or validate that you got a good product. But just start. Don't sit here and think that you got to have every single thing done.
Dude, there's only two reasons people fail when they're starting businesses, and that's one of them. Because people always say, what are those two? Because it boils down to two. There's a million reasons you could fail, but it boils down to two main ones. A, you didn't start.
Yeah.
You'll never make it if you don't start. So that's a good one. And then the second one is you didn't keep going. This happened, that happened, you decided to quit. This happened, that happened, you got scared. This happened, that happened, you got scarcity based instead of abundance. And you know what I mean? So if you really look at all the reasons businesses fail and people fail, it's because they didn't start or they didn't keep going. So as long as you get started and keep going, shit's going to work out. It might take longer than you thought. It might take more than you thought, but that's part of life, man. You learn. And then what you do when you finally get somewhere, you look back and you think what you just said earlier, man, what in the fuck was I so afraid of? Yeah. Why didn't I do this 10 years earlier? And that's been true almost every single time I've talked to anybody that has achieved anything. So folks, get your ass moving. Quit reading books. Get out there, get some experience. Worst case scenario, you make a few mistakes, but guess what? You got to get started and you got to keep going. Work for Brandon. It'll work for you. It worked for me. So at the end of the day, folks, there you have it. Brandon Himmel. Go follow him at Ruff Liners. If you guys are dog lovers, I'm telling you, just go to the website, ruffliners.com. You don't have a bomb squad code, do you? Make a bomb squad code.
All right.
But give them
Bombs 20. Bombs 20. By the time this drops, we'll have a Bombs 20 out there. Get you 20% off on our website.
Well, thank you. You didn't need to do that. I was going to say throw in the travel bag or throw in the extra, goodies that can come with it, but whatever you want. Bomb Squad. Throw a code in the checkout, Bomb Squad, so they know where you guys came from. Dude, keep crushing it. Thanks, be rooting for you. I'll have you back one of these times. We'll see if you got to 100.
When I get to 100 mil.
Folks, until next time, keep it real.